Hello, welcome back to the Fusion tutorial series. Once again, I'm Liam. I'm from First Tech Challenge Team 12499 Gear Up. So right now I've got my Fusion instance open here on my desktop, and I'm going to go back into that project that we made in the first video. That was the Fusion tutorials project. Great. I'm actually going to make a new file for this video, and it's going to be all about sketching. So I'm going to have a bunch of sketches in here. So let me go ahead and do the same thing I did the first time, and I'm going to go ahead and save it. So Command S to save, and let's call this video 2. Sketching. Ooh, sketching. Awesome. There we go. And I'll wait for it to go ahead and save and upload. Great. Upload finished. So let's make our first sketch. So I'm going to start by clicking this button up here. This is the Create Sketch button. So if I click here, now it's going to present me with this view. These are my 3 different cardinal plane directions. So you want to create a sketch on a plane to start with. You can also create sketches on faces of objects, but I don't have any objects in here yet. So I'm going to start by just making a sketch on this top plane here. So I'm going to click here, and it's going to automatically orient me to my sketch plane. You can see up in the top right corner here that I have this navigation cube, and you can see that I'm on the top side right now. I'll stay up here just so it's easier to see. Let's start by just making a couple lines. So I'm going to click the line tool here, or you can press L on your keyboard. So for my first point, I'm going to place it right here at the origin. And let's see, I'll make a triangle today. I just feel like triangles are cool. So I'm going to place my second point here. And it's going to automatically start another line automatically connected there. I'm going to throw my third point here and my fourth point here. Great. I made a triangle. There's my very first sketch. Now let's say I want to put a circle around it. I'm going to grab the circle tool, that center diameter circle, or you can press the C key. I'm going to once again start from the origin and click. Now I'll just drag out. And I'll put it right about here. Cool, now I have a circle too. Okay, let's call that done with my first sketch. So I'm going to press Finish Sketch up here. And I have that sketch. So if I click open on the Sketches menu in here, I can see Sketch 1. I'm actually going to rename that just so I can remember. I'll call it Triangle Circle. That seems pretty good. Great. I'm actually going to hide this. So I'm going to click the eye, and it's going to poof away my sketch, because I want to make another one. Let's see. Let's make this sketch on the front face. So I can either use that same holding shift down and pressing down in the middle mouse button to orbit like this, or I can use the navigation cube up here. So if I want to make one on the front, I can just click front and then click this face here. Awesome. All right. In this sketch, let's make some rectangles. There's actually a bunch of different rectangle tools in Fusion. If you hover over things, you'll actually get a little description of what they do. And a keyboard shortcut. So you can see the 2-point rectangle also has the keyboard shortcut R. So I'm going to hit that right now. I've already selected the 2-point rectangle, and let's make one right here. So I just clicked in the origin, and I'm going to drag out. But let's say I want to give this rectangle a super precise dimension. Let's say I want a 30 millimeter rectangle by 60 millimeters. There we go. So I just typed those in and pressed enter. You should be able to see in the bottom left if you missed it, but I pressed a couple keys throughout to switch through the different ones. I'll actually make another one and walk you guys through what I just did. So if I drag this out again, right now you can see that the vertical dimension is already highlighted. So if I start typing in numbers right now, they'll go straight into there. Let's make this one 40 millimeters tall. And then I'm going to press the tab key, and that'll switch me over to the other dimension of this rectangle. Let's go 40 by 80. It seems like a nice number. Now that I have both dimensions in, I'm just going to press the enter key, and that will automatically finalize that sketch element. There we go. We've now made 2 rectangles. Okay, I'm going to press finish on this sketch, and let's also give this one a name. Rectangles. So I'm going to show you guys both sketches, And there is a key difference between the two of them. As you can see, the triangle circle sketch is all in blue. All of those lines are light blue. Whereas in the rectangle sketch, those lines are black. When you're sketching, blue lines mean undefined. That means that they're not fully constrained, and as you can see, I can move these around, just like this. That's completely allowed because that's within the parameters that I gave the sketch when I made it. I didn't really give it any parameters to go off of. So these are all within what's been defined. Whereas with my rectangle sketch, I can't move any of this stuff around. If I try to drag it, those aren't within the defined amounts. Black means that there's basically only one solution to that sketch equation. So you always want to aim for your sketches to be all black lines. That way you know that things are fully defined. We'll do some basic defining here, but there are some more advanced tools which we'll use in the next video. So let's go back to that triangle circle sketch and let's define it. So I'm going to double click on the sketch just to go back and edit it again. Let's tackle the circle first, just because that's going to be the easier one to define. So I am going to press the D key, which is for dimension. So now I have this little icon next to my cursor, which tells me that I'm in dimension mode. Now I'm going to click on the circle, and that's going to allow me to define a diameter. So let's see, I'll place my diameter measurement reading just out here. Now I can type. So let's go ahead and give this circle a diameter of 100 millimeters. So I'm just going to type 100, and then I'll press enter. There we go. Now my circle is black. Black means fully defined. So my circle can no longer be wiggled around, anything like that. Now let's tackle the triangle. Let's just say I want to make an equilateral triangle, just because those are my favorite kind. So once again, I'm going to press the D key, and this time I'm going to define angles. So I'm going to go ahead and press my first line here. Then I'll click on the second line here. Now I have this angle measurement here. Click one more time to place the angle measurement. Then I'm going to type in 60 degrees. Press enter. There we go. I've done one angle, but I need to do two more and a line, if you remember those congruency rules. All right, so let me throw one more angle in here, and I'll define that as 60 degrees as well. Great. Fusion isn't completely stupid, so it knows that that third angle should be 60 degrees as well. But as you can see, those lengths aren't defined, which is kind of an issue for us. So I'm going to hit the D key one more time and click on one of the line segments here. Let's say that I want the sides of my triangle to be 37 millimeters. That just seems like a nice number to me right now. Great. Okay. So this triangle in and of itself is now fully defined. I can't change the size of it anymore because it has two angles and a side defined. Probably learned that in basic high school math. But the problem with it, and the reason why it's still blue, is because its location isn't defined. I can still rotate it around the center. That's the only corner of the triangle that we've actually anchored to any single point here. So the last tool which I'm going to show you in this video is one which allows you to define that. So let's say I want my triangle to sit along here. That looks pretty good to me, but my eye isn't a computer, and actually if I zoom in, it's a little bit off. It's not quite there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this tool, which is the horizontal vertical. This is going to lock any line to be perfectly horizontal or perfectly vertical, whichever one is closer. So I'll click on that tool. Then I'll click on this line. Bam. Now you can see that little icon down here, which means it's locked as horizontal. And now my triangle is black. It's fully defined. I can't move this triangle around anymore. Great. Now we have two fully defined sketches. It's pretty cool. All right. That's going to be it for this video. Hopefully that gets you guys started with the basics of sketching, making some lines, circles, and rectangles. Those are going to be your most fundamental sketch objects. It's probably the ones that I use the most often. So go ahead and try to make some lines, circles, and rectangles and see how it goes. You can also explore using other sketch tools, but we'll continue going forward with other more advanced tools like the slot and the hole tool in the next video. Thanks.